welcome to my channel, Bow and Arrow Tarot. Today we're going to get right into the weekly reading for the sign of Virgo. All right, guys. We're going to start off with your romance angel messages. All right, so let's get right into it. We're going to pull out 3 romance angel messages for March 1st to the 7th. And then we're going to get into your animal spirits and your spread. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and do this for my lovely Virgos. See what this first full week of March may hold for some of you. All right, straight out we have honeymoon. Nice. We have forgiving and learning, card that's come up quite a lot this week so far. Excuse me. And we have give your relationship a chance, another card that's come up a lot this week for the weekly so far. So interesting, because February was a very tricky time for all of us, and some of the messages for March seem to already be starting off on a better note, forgiving and learning, giving that relationship a chance, right? I know we're in a Mercury retrograde right now, I believe, so I'm not an astrologer. You have to go to the astrology channel for information on that, but I know that it definitely causes a lot of problems with communication. Having said that, March so far seems to be a month of positivity. So let's carry on with your animal spirits, Virgo, and see what animal spirits you have walking with you right now. All right, Virgo, we've got the deer, earth spirit. Card for motherhood. We have the dragon, also a spirit elemental, dragon associated with the 3rd chakra, which is the solar plexus. And then we have the phoenix, another spirit elemental associated with the root chakra, right? The very first chakra at the base of the spine. All right, the deer is an earth spirit elemental and is associated with the great mother, right? The spirit of the mother. Here we're talking about the need to be careful, the need to be protective, aware, and yet at the same time very, very gentle, right, and nurturing. Certainly, this can indicate a new life coming into your world, like a baby or a child, right? You may be adopting, you may be having a child. This can also indicate a new project or idea that is beginning to sort of spring out of yourself, right, out of your creative consciousness, and the need for you to protect that as well, just as you would a newborn, protecting new ideas that you have for creativity, nurturing them, protecting them, being aware of all of obstacles that may be in the way of you sort of growing them, right? So in all ways, really, we're talking about being very protective, being very nurturing, being very alert. Now, the dragon is associated with the 3rd chakra, which is the solar plexus, and it is, oh gosh, it is a glimpse into our higher selves, our true selves. The dragon eye is always watching. It is always within us, and it is that tether that we have to our true higher soul, spirit, consciousness, whatever you want to call it, and the connection to us, who we are here, our character now, our ego, right? And it's the balancing of ego and our true selves. And so, of course, it is ever, ever watchful. And really, this is a powerful, powerful card when we're talking about sort of self-realization, transcending your ego. Being able to get over sort of egoistic feelings and outlooks and really be the deeper person, the higher person that you are. This can often indicate, certainly when we're talking about forgiving and learning, if you're in periods of reconciliation or mediation or talking or healing or anything like that, we certainly want our higher self to descend down and to be sort of walking with us more so than our ego. Now, the phoenix is associated with the root chakra, And of course, here we're talking about birth and death and rebirth, rather, right? The Phoenix is all about letting go of the past, letting the past truly go, simply because we don't want to suffer anymore. We don't want to hold on to what is old and unnecessary anymore. The Phoenix is all about true rebirth, And from the ashes, it's like, I want to say oftentimes it's not even so much that we want to forget the past or we want to act like it didn't happen or bury it or, burn the bridges. We're talking about literally just letting go, right? Without any sort of attachment to it, understanding that it is the past and understanding that we have a new path in our destiny, perhaps a rebirth happening, and one that we want to sort of soar and not sort of continue to linger in feelings and experiences that may have been quite hurtful even, We don't want to suffer under them anymore. And so it is simply a desire to let go for the sake of letting go. All right, guys, let's get right into your spreads for this week. One more shuffle. These spreads are intended to be separate from each other. And of course, if they don't relate to you, then this reading is not for you. If none of these spreads resonate with you or relate to what you're going through right now in your life, then certainly this reading is not for you. I do apologize for any background noise you may hear. Straight out, we have Justice. We have Death, and we have the Seven of Wands. Wow. All right, so for some of you, you're certainly going to be coming into this week with justice on your mind, the rebalancing of your life in some area. This is what justice is all about, bringing balance back to a situation that is out of balance. Certainly, this can often indicate you waiting for a judgment, a rendering of some sort. It could be a mediation process. It could be any kind of official process or document that you may be waiting to sign, right? And whatever the case may be, whatever this event is, generally, of course, will come in and serves as a rebalancing. But nevertheless, some of you Virgos are dealing with this. You're definitely thinking about this. You're coming into this week with it. You're met with death. And death, of course, is full transformation in all areas. Of course, in tarot, death doesn't mean a physical death, but it does mean an ending to what is the status quo, an ending to your life as you know it now, right? And a complete sort of transformation of everything. This could include your job, your relationships, your social circle, your environment, how you live, where you live, your financial status, anything really. But very generally, death does indicate sweeping transformation and change, right? Can be that this event comes in for you this week, and this is the reason why such change is coming in, such renewal. And certainly this is very akin to the Phoenix as well, because death is never ever just death. It is always a renewal, and, certainly, death is a transformation that makes way for a rebirth in all cases, right? So by the end of the week, though, you round off with a Seven of Wands. And it's interesting because Seven of Wands is a feeling of really having to come up with a lot of very creative solutions to some obstacles. Oftentimes, Seven of Wands feels like you're under attack, just as you see the figure there. It feels like you're the only one sort of, taking care of yourself or protecting yourself. It's very much a me against the world feeling, because it certainly feels like nobody is in your corner and you're getting a lot of attitudes, energies, and obstacles coming your way. I feel like this is coming out of jealousy, perhaps, or envy, because this death situation that comes in really transforms your world in a lot of ways. And it may not sit so comfortably with everyone else around you, right? If you are on the receiving end of a positive sort of event like justice or official event like this, then somebody else is not going to be happy, right? And so it does very much feel like Although the rebalancing is coming in, the transformation you've been waiting for and wanting is coming in, it's not going to be without difficulty, because you're certainly going to have to still deal with a lot of negative energy, perhaps, or just energies from people who don't want to see you sort of rise up like this or transform like this. So by the end of the week, all will not just be a piece of cake. It will still be quite a challenge for you. But nevertheless, Virgo, you definitely are up for that challenge. Fool energy, the Strength card, and the Ace of Wands. Some of you come into this week with Fool energy, and this is a real beginning of a new stage in your life, path in your life. Fool has shown up quite a lot for the weekly. So again, this first full week of March for a lot of you is going to feel like, oh, okay, now let's really get into the rest of the year. I think January and February, especially February, was a difficult month. Nevertheless, you're ready for it. It feels fresh. It feels new. You come into this week and you are met with strength energy. And I'm thinking that you're going to be finding that this new path you're on is challenging, right? It is very challenging for you in a lot of ways. You're having to exercise a lot of strength over your emotions. A lot of boundaries will have to be put in place and enforced. I think overall you're just feeling in general like, I have to be stronger. I have to be wiser. I have to put boundaries in place. This new avenue that I'm about to, avenue in my life that I'm about to embark on this new stage is going to be more difficult, because you've already learned something from the stages you're at. So you're resonating up. You've learned something. You definitely have wisdom under your belt and experience. I feel like this new path for you is definitely going to be testing that, challenging that, right? And you're going to have to really pull on everything you know, draw on everything you know, really make sure you put the right boundaries in place so that you can hold on to your strength through this new this beginning of this new process. By the end of the week, you round off with an Ace of Wands, and I think that the Ace of Wands is going to, you're entering into a new stage, right? But it isn't until the end of the week for some of you with this Ace of Wands that you have a clear idea of what that all entails, right? So sometimes you can have a feeling of entering a new stage in life and still being kind of in the dark, like what is going on? Everything is changing, right? But now, once that Ace of Wands comes in, it's going to feel much more sort of focused. You're going to understand much more what exactly is the nature of this change, and perhaps even what is the purpose of this new path, which in the beginning of the week, it just feels very fresh and new, but still not quite so cohesive and focused yet. Certainly this is going to be, I think for some of you who are artists, it's going to be a new path in the way that you conduct your art, or you make your art, or you produce your art. Please excuse my cat. She gets a little wacky sometimes. And for some of you, it can be indeed in a creative side to work as well that's coming in, right? In any case, there's definitely passion involved, and that's what I'm saying. By the end of the week, you're going to find out why you're entering into this new phase, and you're certainly going to be able to find out exactly where your passion is, right? And certainly, again, why you're entering into this new kind of stage of your life, which is really testing a lot of sides of yourself. The Devil, the Hermit, and the Emperor. Well, we have 3 major arcana in a row there. And was the last one as well? No, we had the Ace of Wands, 2 major arcana. So the Devil, definitely talking about wanting to communicate, wanting to express yourself, but certainly there are triggers, environmental or personality triggers, people around you that may be sort of pulling you down the road of sort of that devil energy, that instant gratification, maybe the road where you're not quite elevating your art as much as you want to, but you're as much as you would like rather, but the easy road, right? The quick satisfaction, instant satisfaction, codependency. Sometimes addictions are there too. But how do addictions start? You don't immediately become addicted to anything, right? It starts with those first few stages, right? The beginning where it feels like fun. It feels like it's okay. And that's the energy of the devil. Just slowly kind of like, environmental factors or factors perhaps of the people maybe that you're around, just kind of like nudging that side of you. And with tarot, we talk about the devil. The devil is a capacity that we have in all of us. It's not an outside entity like a Christian Judeo outlook. In tarot, the devil is an energy that is within all of us when we are not creatively fulfilled. When we have a high degree of creativity and we're not sort of focusing that or communicating that through something positive or something with a higher goal or spiritual goal or higher aesthetic goal, this is how we descend into instant gratification and addictions and codependencies and things like that. So the devil is within us, but there are things that can trigger us or sort of pull us down that particular path. And so you're struggling with that this week, I think. You're certainly, and even if it isn't a struggle, you're certainly kind of, playing with fire, right? You come into the week and you're met with Hermit energy. And I think this is a real feeling of wanting to pull away, right? It could be that a lot of this energy is around you right now and you know yourself. You know that if you're around this kind of environment, Virgo, it's not, it's not good for you. And I think that certain events this week very much make you feel like, you know what, maybe I should just pull away. Maybe I should just really go into my Hermit mode. Hermit, by the way, is your card, Virgo. It is the tarot. Your tarot card is Hermit. The devil is, of course, Capricorn, and Emperor is Aries. But it really doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that you're dealing with a Capricorn or an Aries, but it is interesting when your card shows up in your reading. And it's going to feel quite comfortable for you, Virgo, because that is your go-to state, to be very sort of insular, to be very to yourself, and to really pull away when things like this are happening around you. By the end of the week, Emperor energy is resonating, and I think that this is all very much a real sort of awakening for you in some ways. It's almost like you play with fire and you pull away and you realize by the end of the week exactly where you stand, what you can allow in, what you can't allow in, because the Emperor brings order to chaos, right? And I think you started off the week with a feeling with a chaotic feeling. You went into your Hermit, which to a certain degree can be considered extreme, right? To completely pull away. But I think you find your balance in the Emperor, because here you find your balance in knowing what to say no to, what to say yes to. You don't have to pull completely away. And certainly you don't have to completely succumb to whatever factors could lead you down this sort of negative path with the devil. And so the Emperor is really sort of establishing his authority. You are establishing your authority at the helm of your ship, of your life, right? So this is a real week, I think, this is a real week in a testing phase for a lot of you Virgos, really sort of testing where your strength is at, testing where your resolve is at, testing, the dragon is watching. Right, and a lot of you are going through a death and rebirth as well, but the dragon is watching. Your higher selves are watching, and they're there. You're tethered to your higher spirit is there. And I think this is a strong week for Virgo to go through a lot of sort of events that will help you to remind yourself of who you are, right? And force you to sort of really draw on the energies and the skills, the qualities, the strength that you have. This can be a real week of self-realization, self-understanding, and it's a real positive week. And certainly with this spread, by the end of the week, you are absolutely in a power base, a stable base, not going from Hermit to devil, but rather being very, very stable and knowing exactly which energies to allow in and which energies not to allow. And this could also be certainly during a great change in your life, perhaps change in moving, jobs, career, what have you. All right, Virgo, well, this is your reading. Thank you so much for watching. This is for March 1st to the 7th. If you enjoyed my reading, please do like, subscribe, and share. All of that really helps my channel to grow. This is what I do for a living. This is my channel. I'm working on my website, which will be up hopefully within the next couple of weeks, where you can go get all the information you need. You can watch all the videos. You can book readings. All of that good stuff is going to be there. But for right now, my lovely Virgos, do have a wonderful first week of March, and I'll see you next week for your weekly outlook. Bye-bye now.